Hello and welcome back to the next episode of Ship Design 101. In this episode, we'll actually be doing some ship design step by step and going through it. I apologise if there is any mumbling at any times, as sometimes I can lose track of thought or things like that. And we'll just be going over designing a vessel, a military vessel. There will also be a video further on about designing commercial vessels and what to look for, but that will be much more straightforward. But in this video, we're just going to be looking at designing a military vessel step by step. So the first thing we're going to do is I've created a new ship class here. I'm going to name the class. We're going to call it the, let's call it the Defiance. We'll call it the Defiance. And using the methodology here, as you can see, what is the purpose of the ship you're designing? We're going to make a, let's say a corvette. We're going to make a corvette. So the purpose is to provide escort duty. It's going to be to assist other ships, and it's going to be helping provide security, PPV, and general protection for our navy and our populaces. How are we going to achieve that purpose? This is where we're going to get into it. So we're going to achieve that purpose by adding engines. So we are going to add a Corvette ion drive. So I already have this design, but we would go over here to the create projects window. We'd go over here to engines, and then we would design the engine appropriately, being 37. No, I believe it's 27 for this one, and then we are going to increase the fuel for this, and we're going to get the engine, and there we go, engine right there. We then create that, and then we'd research that, and then we go to the next component. But we're going to just keep going along as if you have all the components researched, and we're just going to keep slotting them in accordingly. I want this ship to be able to be deployed for 12 months, so I'm going to put 12 months in, and I'm also going to give it an armor belt of 3. I'm going to add onto it the next part, which is going to be weapons, and also other systems. So I want to achieve the purpose of escort duty, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down some point defense cannons. So I've already researched this. I'm going to go into turret design. I'm going to show you how you do it. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to come over here, research something that can be turreted. Only lasers or gauss cannons can be turreted. Research that. Then head to turret design. Use what you've researched in here. So select, let's say, point defense cannon, and then select how many barrels you want. So this will times the damage by how many, by what you put here. So if you put twin, it'll be 3 times, or it'll be 2 times 6, for example, if you have 2 guns and then they have twin barrels per. So keep that in mind. And same with triple, same with quad, etc. Now that we have got, let's say, our turrets designed, I'm going to put on some defense turrets. I'm going to put on 4 turrets. I'm also going to put down 2 medium turrets. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to add the next thing, which is going to be some railguns, because I want some ship-to-ship combat capability. Okay, we just put down 2 railguns. And the next thing we're going to do, and that we're going to look for, is we're going to add some sensors. So we're going to come over here. I'll show you how to design sensors really quick. So come over, back to sensors. Resolution, this is the circumference or the displacement of the ship you want it to target most effectively. If you want an AMM sensor, you go to Res 1 always. And then sensor size, your text, and then if it's missile fire control of its search sensor. So we already have that research, so we're going to go back into our class design, and we are going to add a class-wide and narrow array search sensor. We also need a power plant, so we're going to go and get that. So we're going to go and research the power plant. It will use your best tech. You can put a power boost in if you want to save on space. And then we're going to go in here and adjust accordingly, get our power output that we need. Your power output that you'll need is going to be based off how much power your weapons consume. So this consumes 4 power every 5 seconds. So in that case, we're going to need, because there's 2 of them, we're going to need 8 power output. So we are going to use our fusion reactor here. Okay. We now need beam fire controls if we are to effectively use this. So we're going to go into our beam fire control and we're going to design one. So for this, you can increase range by 4x. You can also reduce it by up to 25% of the size, and you can do the same with speed, but only to 50% of the size for the dragon speed. So we've now designed our beam fire control. You want to match that to the weapons that you will be using. You can also have backup systems for this, but generally you want enough the point defense to match your tracking speed for your weapon or weapons, and you also want one for your ship combat and then one for your point defense, so you do not just have your point defense firing at ships, and you don't want your ship firing at missiles and wasting its energy. So we're going to go back into the window really quick here, and we're going to continue to design the ship. So we're going to add in our beam fire control. So I'm going to put down a coil gun here. There we go. We got a coil gun, and then I'm going to put down as well a point defense targeting system. So you see how those match appropriately. And then the rest of it we're going to pad out with, this design's pretty much done, except for we need more fuel, and we're also going to need more engineering space. So we are going to first put in some engineering spaces. So I'm going to put in that. I like that. You can either go less, but you want at least the same as your deployment time. And then I'm going to add in some fuel. So boom, boom, boom. And then we'll add in some engineering spaces to continue filling it out. And yep. And then this is how you pad stuff out, just fighters and tiny things, and then you just keep going up. And there we go. We have our ship designed fully. We went through every single component, and we were able to create this Corvette here. We can then go and retool it in the appropriate place. And yeah, it will work out pretty well for us. You can see the build time and the exact size here. Something I'm going to do is just look at the wide view here so you can see both sides of what is in the ship and what is not in the ship. And I'm also going to show you, if you design a ship that has missile systems or fighters, how that works. So if we have Gander over here to the heavy cruiser, and we go to ordnance, you can just put in, so I'm just going to remove a few of these, so you can remove missiles from here, and then you can just put in missiles accordingly. Use these buttons to load hundreds or thousands of missiles at once, and then you can also put a Raven in here. This does not mean they will build with the ship. This just means that when you load stuff onto it, it will recognize it appropriately, and when you resupply it, it will do it properly. I've gone over this in the preview video for fighters and also for ship mechanics, but it's just something to keep in mind on. Okay, so now that we have done our ship design step by step, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into a shipyard and we're going to retool that. So to be able to your shipyard needs to be the same tonnage as the ship you are tooling it for, or more, and you get one free retool before it's been retooled to anything. So if I was going to retool to the next ship, I'd have to go over here, retool, and that would take me X amount of time. Once that is done, you can then construct the ship. You can scrap, you can refit, repair other ships, but you can construct the ship and you can do it accordingly. Another big tip, if you want to get the names better, and I've already gone over this in a previous video, but I'm going to go over this again, is that you can go over here and you can set the naming scheme. So if I want to, I've already put some Halo themes into this. These will not be in your game. These are just some themes that I have put in. So I'd put in Corvette. I'd put in my designation UNSC. I'd select random name from theme, and bam, done. If you want to be able to make your own naming theme, all you have to do is you have to go in here and you have to add a commander or add name theme. Add name theme, so anything that's not a commander. So you'd add name theme. Let's call it UNSC blank. Okay, and then you in here or in a text file, that has all of the names stacked up appropriately. You can then select that and then you can add it to whatever thing you want in game. So I'm going to show you how that's laid out exactly, really quick for you. So if we go over here and we go to 1.92 and we go to ship names, so if you have a look here, it's laid out like this. Boom, very standard. There you go. I just had an error there because I didn't actually input anything properly. Okay, thank you for joining me. This was the step-by-step of designing a ship. Now, obviously, there will be higher and lower level ships. I'll be talking more about how ship design affects things, but this is just the very basic step-by-step tutorial on how I design a ship and look at things. The next videos will be going over carrier design. We're going over more complicated subjects, and there will also be a video on commercial ship design much earlier or in a future video. I hope you did enjoy, and please like and subscribe, as only 20% of people who watch this are actually subscribed, and any support is duly appreciated. I hope the quality has increased and that you can see that I'm trying to be more clear and more concise, and there are less issues with that. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.